Hi there. We are going to do order of operations. We're on 1.3 in your notable. First things first, we want to build our vocabulary. A lot of times our main title here, 1.3 order of operations, is going to go in blank. So let's fill in our blank. We know that order of operations is the set of rules to find the correct value of an expression. And we learned, and I believe, that an expression is just an equation with no equal sign. Basically, we're just solving for something. We're solving for hours that you work per week or something in a long line of operations like this. So it's just a set of rules. It's an order in which we solve our expressions. So let's talk about that order. The first thing that we always do in order of operations are grouping symbols. So I want you to write this in the margin. Grouping symbols sometimes look like parentheses, or they could even look like brackets, which are sort of this parenthesis. So first things first, we do grouping symbols. So one, grouping symbols. Second thing, what do? We do exponents. Now, exponents are powers, or when we take, like, let's say 2 to the second power, our exponent is 2, 2 to the second power equals 4. So we do things that have exponents up here. Third thing we do is multiplication and or division. Why do we say and or? We're using a slash mark for and or. We say and or because they can happen at the same time. So in this case, we would just move from left to right. Left to right. Think of the way in which you read a book, from left to right. And it doesn't matter. If multiplication is first, all the way to the left, then we do that first. But let's say division is all the way to the left, then we would divide first. And the fourth thing we do, you guessed it, is add and or subtract. And again, we move from left to right, just how we read. All right, so let's try the first example. It says, find the value of 7 times 10 plus 10 divided by 2 minus 6 times 5. Show your work. And the way we're going to show our work is right here. They already set it up pretty much for us. So we see no grouping symbols. We see no exponents. We do see multiplication and division. So let's do those first. So 7 times 10 we know is 70. We're going to put 70 in there. And what they want here is you're going to multiply. I'm just going to put multiply, or I'm going to put mult for multiply. You multiply 7 and 10. Next step we do, and they even rewrote the 70 for you. Next step we do is division. Remember, we moved from left to right. We want to always rewrite our whole entire problem. So our next step is division, which is this portion right here. 10 divided by 2 is 5. What did we do? We divided 10 by 2. Our next thing, we still have multiplication right here, 6 times 5, and we know that's 30. And over here we want to write we multiplied 6 and 5. Now addition or subtraction, and remember again we move from left to right. So we don't want to say, okay, what's 5 minus 30 plus 70? We want to move all the way to the left to all the way to the right. So 70 plus 5 is 75. And we want to add 70 and 5. And now our last step, all we need to do is subtract, right? We first added, now we subtract. What's 75 minus 30? We know that is 45. And what do? We subtract, or I'm just going to write sub, 30 from 75. And you can see how the last lesson is coming into play here when we list our steps out. All right, so now try the your turn and see if you get the right answer. You want to make sure that maybe you're writing your work over here, so maybe rewrite the your turn over here, and that your answer does come down sort of a pyramid in this direction. So the answer to the your turn is listed right over here. Make sure you do your division, your multiplication, your addition, then your subtraction. Your answer is 11. All of your order of operations problems will be in this sort of upside down pyramid. So make sure that you're getting answers that look like that. All right, on to example number 2. Finance. Mrs. Rodriguez bought 3 gallons of milk for $2.50 each and 2 loaves of bread for $1 each. How much did Mrs. Rodriguez spend on milk and bread? So, total amount spent is the total amount spent on milk plus the total amount spent on bread. Well, we know that 3 gallons of milk is $2.50, so we want to write in here $2.50. We're going to add that to, or plus, the amount spent on bread. Well, we know that the bread, she bought 2 loaves of it, and they're $1 each. So $1. 3 times 250 plus 2 times 1. What's 3 times 250? Well, if you think about it, 250 times 2, or 250 plus 250, that's $5. Think of money. We got quarters. Now we're going to add 250 to that. So we got 750. So we know we got 750 over here. Put some money signs. We would do 2 times $1. Oh, they want us to write our steps. So what do? We multiplied, or we multiplied 3 and 250. 7 plus 2 times $1 is just $2. 2 times 1. And then we want to add 2 and $1. 750, 850, we get 950. And we again add 750 and $2. So our total is Mrs. Rodriguez spent $9.50 on the milk and bread. So now your turn. Go ahead and give me an answer for Juanita. How much Juanita spent on bracelets and socks? Remember, you have all this room over here to be showing your work. So go ahead and show your work over here in the bottom corner of your page. Okay, so the answer to the your turn is Juanita spent $22.50 on bracelets and socks. And over here you'll see the work all out for you. Again, like I said, it is in this upside down pyramid sort of shape, and they will always work out like that if you do your problems correctly. Okay, on to example 3. We're doing expressions with parentheses, and we talked about parentheses being those symbols that look like this. They're right here, or they could be just grouping symbols like brackets. It says find the value of 10 plus 4 times 6 plus 9. Show your work. So 10 plus 4 times 6 plus 9 is equal to 10 times plus 4, and then we do what's in the parentheses first. 6 plus 9 is what? It's 15. And how do we get that? We added 6 and 9. So now what do? We got what's done in the grouping symbols done. There's no exponents. We do multiplication or division, which in this case it's multiplication. 4 times 15 we know is 60. Think of time in this case. Quarter of an hour is 15 minutes. 60 minutes in a whole hour. How do we get that? We multiplied 4 and 15. Then what do? We add. What do we add? We add 10 and 60. We get 70. 10 and 70. What do we do to that? We add. All right. Pause me here. Do the your turn. Why don't we go ahead and do that in this area right here? It leaves us plenty of room. Okay, so our answer to the your turn is 13. Here's the work in case you didn't get it. This is what you should be showing for each order of operations problem. Okay, on to more build your vocabulary. In the power 3 to the 5th, 3 is the base as it is the number being multiplied. So 3 is the base. You can think of it as the one on the bottom. The exponent is 5. And it tells us how many times the base is used as a factor. Exponent is 5. So the exponent is this up here. Now what does this mean, 3 to the 5th, where 3 is the base and 5 is the exponent? It means you're taking the base, 3, and you're multiplying it together 5 times by that exponent. So you're multiplying 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So just keep that in mind. Example 4, find the value of 5 times 32 minus 4 squared. Show your work. Now, remember, it goes grouping symbols, order of operations goes grouping symbols, exponents, multiply, excuse me, oh, that's grouping symbols, exponents, multiply or divide, and or divide, add, and or subtract. So, first things first, we see no grouping symbols, okay? But we do see an exponent. 4 squared. Now remember, 4 squared means 4 times 4. It doesn't mean 4 times 2. It means 4 times 4. How many times are we multiplying 4 together? We're multiplying it 2 times. So let's do it. 4 times 4, oh, it gives you a box for that right here. So that is going to be 16. So our first step, we have 5 times 32 minus that 16. Well, the next thing we need to do is find out what the heck does 5 times 32 is? Or what is it? Well, we know 5 times 30 is 150. So 5 times 32 must be 160 minus 16. Remember, we want to fill in what our step is. We multiplied 5 and 32. 160 minus 16, we get 144. We subtract 16 from 160. Now notice how they did that. They wanted you to write it in the correct order. We don't subtract 160 from 16. We subtracted 16 from that 160. All right, now we're getting into the big boys here. We have expressions with grouping symbols and exponents. Woo! Find the value of 6 squared divided by 2 plus 4. Oh, these brackets. Then we have our parentheses, and then we divide that by 5. Show your work. Okay, so we start with the innermost grouping symbols. The innermost grouping symbols are these ones right here. 6 plus this 24. So what is 6 plus 24? Well, that's pretty easy. It's 30. Now we want to work our way out. Now we still have grouping symbols around here. Notice how they changed from brackets up here to these long parentheses down here. Same thing though. So 30 divided by 5 is 6. And how did we do that? We divided 30 by 5. Now what's the next thing we do? We're done with the grouping symbols. So we don't go to multiply these. First we say, oh, look it over here. There's an exponent. 6 squared. Now what's 6 squared? 6 squared is 6 times 6, which is 36. Not 6 times 2, making it 12. So we put our 36 in. Now we say 36 divided by 2 plus 4 times 6. Well, remember, it's addition, or I'm sorry, it's multiplication slash division, moving from left to right. So first we want to divide 36 by 2, and we are going to get 18. Divide 36 by 2. Then we're going to multiply 4 times 6, and we get 24. We multiply 4 and 6. Now we add 18 plus 24. Well, if you can't do that in your head, go ahead and make your, so 8 plus 4 is 12. 1, 2, 3, 4. We get 42. 42 is our final answer. And what did we do at the very end? We added 18 and 24 to get our 42. All right, now it's your turn. First thing, they're giving us just something with exponents. Second thing, they're giving us something with exponents and grouping symbols. Remember, move from the inside out. Pause and see if you can do it on your own. Okay, so here's the answers to the your turns, again with all the work, because I want you to know that this is the steps that you need to take to solve each of these problems. Notice over here we worked from the inside all the way out, and your answer being 16 for A and 37 for B. Today's assignment that we'll be working on in class is a worksheet, so you'll get that worksheet in class tomorrow. If you have any questions on A or B, you need to make sure you ask one of us tomorrow. See you then.